All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this session of the Beginning Farmer and Rancher Lunchtime Learning webinar series. This will be our final webinar for this series, and we hope that these have been helpful to you and that you've taken something from each one of them. As always, we want to acknowledge the support of the USDA, National Institute of Food and Agriculture, and their Beginning Farmer Rancher Development Program. Today, we'll be discussing a little bit with Justin Whitmore, who is the Director of Field Services with the Oklahoma Farm Bureau, about the things that the Farm Bureau does, ways that beginning farmers and ranchers can plug into Farm Bureau services and resources, and some other things he might have to discuss with us. And so with that, I will say, please, any questions that come to mind as we're visiting, feel free to throw in the chat. You can actually potentially unmute yourself, maybe if you prefer to do that, and say something as well. I think we'll have a good discussion today. And then notice in the chat there that I did put a link to the Farm Bureau website, their Young Farmer Rancher program, and also a little gift to you as our participants, free access to the Market Garden School OSU online courses. So with that, I'll welcome Justin, and we look forward to hearing from him today. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you. So Oklahoma Farm Bureau is a general farm organization in the fact that we do not promote any one particular ag commodity. We promote all forms of agriculture. Most of you guys have probably heard about Farm Bureau as the insurance company, but that's not quite what we are. We're a farm organization that owns an insurance company. Our insurance is a member benefit. You can be a member of Oklahoma Farm Bureau without having the insurance, but you cannot have Oklahoma Farm Bureau insurance without being a member of Oklahoma Farm Bureau. This came about years and years ago when it was really hard for rural people to get insurance. The Farm Bureau was beginning to become was getting started just after Farm Bureau started. They started the insurance company, and they did that to help promote, to raise money to promote agriculture, and also to give people in rural areas access to insurance, which they previously really had a hard time getting a hold of. We have county farm bureau boards in all 77 states, and these county farm bureau boards, they work on only agricultural issues happening in their county, happening in the state, and promoting of agriculture in those counties and on the state level. We have mentioned YF&R earlier. We've got our YF&R program, which is our young farmers and ranchers. Those are our people that are 18 to 35. We have a lot of county organizations that have their own YF&R, so you can be a YF&R member in a county, but you can also be a state YF&R member. We do not have a YF&R in every county. We'd love to have a YF&R in every county. We just don't have that right now, but we are working towards that, and we've been adding several in the last few years. We've added several counties to our list. The YF&R, they do tons of different things, and I know it's kind of hard to imagine, but the sky is really the limit on what our YF&R can do. They get help a lot of times from our county farm bureaus to do different projects, but their project can be anything from helping to put on a speech contest, the FFA, to having a farm safety day camp for smaller kids, or anything in between that. I mean, there's just a lot of different things that the YF&R does. We have women's committee. They do a lot of different things in the state. Or we have a state women's committee. We also have county level women's committees, and they do a lot of different projects to promote agriculture and just forward agriculture in Oklahoma. One thing that some of you guys might be interested as new farmers, this is not necessarily something that is aimed just at new farmers, but it's our rural development program. This is relatively new to Oklahoma Farm Bureau. Our rural development program started a couple of years ago, and the best way that I can describe it is kind of like we've got a lot of different programs there for different businesses. If you're wanting to to start a barbecue sauce business, or you're wanting to start an equipment business, or you're building a certain type of equipment out of a shop or something like that, then they've got a lot of different ways to help you as a new business owner do business planning and things like that. But also, if you've got a brand new idea, they have they do a ag venture and they have another set uh, for ideas that are not necessarily ag related but are in rural areas, and they actually try to get those folks in front of venture capitalists or venture capital firms, and hopefully get them to have to get funding to grow their business. And it's just like Shark Tank that you would see on, well, not just like, we don't always get offers. It's like Shark Tank, where you get to do your pitch, and then those companies will come and talk to you and hopefully give you give you an opportunity for investment. It doesn't always happen. It just depends on the idea and what those rural venture folks think the growth potential is of your business. But we do have help there for all folks that are starting a business, whether it's a business plan or looking into financing or things like that. None of the financing is done through Oklahoma Farm Bureau. It's all looking where you get you financed. Um, One of our biggest benefits that our membership has is our public policy side of things. We have a grassroots process to set our public policy book that our lobbyists work off of. We have 3 full-time lobbyists that work every day the Capitol is open at in Oklahoma City. Um, those those folks only lobby on things that are in the policy book. That policy book is put together based on things that are uh, brought forward by our membership at our county annual meetings, and then those go into we go through a whole process to decide what goes in the state book, and then what would not be allowed to be put in that state book. And it's all voted on by the membership. It's all set by the membership. So we have a very robust public policy department. We do a lot of stuff at the Capitol. We take members to the Capitol every day. We had a group from Kingfisher County at the Capitol just yesterday. They went up and they were able to talk to their legislators and talk to them about things that they were wanting to see done there on the state level. We do have a few very small opportunities. We do a grant at our Farm Bureau Foundation does a grant on the for at the Farmers Market Conference in Oklahoma City in the early spring. It's usually in February, and we'll do a $500 grant for marketing at that for those folks that are participating in the farmers market. And it's only for people that are there. Our foundation does a lot of other stuff, but it's not really it's not like a deal where you can apply and get funding or anything like that. It's just we do fire relief, we do storm relief, we do stuff out of state for other farmers that have met with natural disaster, and we do stuff in the state, especially like the wildfires that we had here earlier this spring. We got involved and did things there. So Foundation does a lot of different things. We work with young kids in the school with Foundation. They just sent out I think like 17,000 watermelon seeds, where they are sending those to second graders, and we do a watermelon growing contest over the summer that those second graders can take those watermelon seeds home and grow watermelon and enter to win prizes the next school years if with pictures of them growing that watermelon. One of the last things that I'd like to touch on before we get into some questions, hopefully, is our youth. We've got a lot of opportunities for our youth. We've got some scholarships, whether we've got a vet scholarship, we've got a nursing scholarship, we've got just general scholarships that we do. on the county and the state level, on the county level and the state level, for our young folks that are getting ready to go into school. We also do some leadership camps. We have a reporters conference that we've done in the summer for the last 4 years. We're doing it again this year. They are taking applications right now. We have our OYLA, our Oklahoma Youth Leading Agriculture, and that camp is I think about 20 kids, and they get selected to do a 3 day leadership camp that we put on. And then we also have our one of the bigger camp, or the biggest camp we do is a legislative camp, and we have it over at the state capitol. We limit it to 100 kids, what can fit in the state house chambers, and they do a mock legislature, and that's been really successful, and we've been doing that for the past couple or 3 years now. So that was just that's really the high points of what Oklahoma Farm Bureau does. We also have a communications department. They put out they put out 3 magazines a year. They put out several other smaller publications. They do our Facebook and our Instagram stuff, and then my department, the field services department, we're kind of the catch-all department. We work mainly with the counties to help them do all their programming throughout the year, and then we make sure that they know what's going on at the state level, and the state level knows what's going on there in the counties. So I hope you guys have some questions, because we do a lot of stuff, but I hate to drill down into the really nitty-gritty on any one thing if that's not something you guys are interested in.
Justin, thank you for that. It does look like we have a question that has come in. It says, are scholarships only available within the state? I'm an agribusiness student in Texas who is looking for financial aid and scholarships. I'll be entering my senior year in the fall of 2025.
Yeah, all of our scholarships are aimed at folks that are going to school in Oklahoma. Unfortunately for that student, yes. I would say if that's something they're wanting to, I think we have active Farm Bureau organizations in all 50 states, and so if they're interested in that, I would have them reach out to the Texas Farm Bureau. If they wanted to shoot me an email, I might even be able to get them a contact person for Texas Farm Bureau, and how they might be able to find out about some stuff there.
Excellent. Any other questions anyone has for Justin about Farm Bureau and their programs? While we're waiting for other questions to come in, Justin, could you explain a little bit more about how membership works?
Oh yeah, I should have done that already. Our membership is, when you become a member of a county farm bureau, you also become a member of Oklahoma Farm Bureau and AFBF. So you become a member of all 3. And then your county level membership is the only membership that the prices do change. Our counties get to decide what their county membership is. So I think it can go anywhere from I think $40 to $75, depending on which county you would like to be a member of. I will tell you though, the money that you pay in on the county level all stays in the county, and it goes to affect operations for that county farm bureau board. So all that money, the money that you're paying in for that county level membership, is staying there. Now the state farm bureau, we get $14 per membership, and the AFBF, they get $5 for their membership.
So there's a question follow up to the last question. It says, what if the student lives in Texas but is planning to go to school in Oklahoma?
I'm not sure on that one. Are they beginning? Are they starting out, or are they just starting their college career?
That's what it sounds like. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I think they'd have to be a member of one of the counties here in Oklahoma. I can check on that to make sure. Can you have that person shoot me an email?
Yeah, reach out to Justin on that, and he can help you with the specific kind of nuances of that question. Next question, Justin, that's come in is, are the memberships per person, or are they family or
That
family memberships?
they are family memberships. So theoretically, if you've got kids living at home, you get they are under that membership until they're 21 years old. 21 years old, then you have to get your own membership to be considered. But those memberships travel with the family. So if a family shows up and 8 people show up at the Farm Bureau or the County Farm Bureau meeting, they're only going to get one vote per membership, but the member benefits apply across that family. So that family is going to be able to get um, discounts on hotel rooms and stuff like that across that entire family. And if one family member needs to call in to public policy and says, "Hey, I got a problem with this. Is there something you can help me out with it? Find me some information on this." They're not going to say, "Hey, your other family members can't call in because you've already got your one call or whatever." So no, they are across the family. It's for the entire family. So, and that is a yearly membership, and we have anniversary, and our billing is anniversary. So if you sign up, you're going to be a member for an entire year from the time you sign up.
Excellent. Next question says, could you talk about the Oklahoma Farm Bureau women's leadership?
Um, I'm I'm probably the not the, I'm definitely not an expert on the women's leadership. It's a really neat program. They do a lot of stuff with schools and with our ag in the classroom here in Oklahoma. They do that. They help a lot with that. They help out with the yearly ag in the classroom get together. They also help out with their bus tour that Ag in the Classroom does. They get materials into those classrooms. We do an Ag Accurate book that we try to read in classrooms in the schools, and that's one of the things they do. Again, that women's committee is kind of like the YFNR. They are a committee of the board, and the county level women they can do a lot of different projects. That I don't want to pigeonhole them and say they only do these things, but they can do a lot of different stuff. We do everything from um, help with folks that are don't have enough food to eat, all the way to education. I mean, lots of different stuff. So, unless you have a particular question about the women's committee, they are I mean, they're a pretty big part of our organization, and they do a lot of different things. It's kind of hard to drill down and say they do this thing or they do this set of one or two things. They do a lot.
Yeah, I think kind of what you're getting at is there's a lot of um, county by county. There's some
Mm.
difference in terms of what priorities and activities and things are.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Like I said, we have Farm Bureau in all 77 counties. Those counties are a lot of different activity levels from those counties. We have some counties that are doing different things about every week. We have other counties that are not quite that active, and it's really dependent on those counties what level of activity is going on. I would say if somebody wants to join and they're in a county that doesn't have a ton of activity, it's a great opportunity to be able to get in on the ground floor and really get started doing some stuff that you're interested in doing without all the baggage of people saying, "Well, we used to do it like this," and but we've always done that, not this other thing that you want to do. So,
Great. Any other questions about Farm Bureau for Justin? Um, Kay says, yes, county groups are listed on the website, and we are starting one in Pottawatomie County.
awesome, awesome. Is that a women's group?
Yeah.
All right, that's a cool deal. Yep. Yeah, and unfortunately those county committees they ebb and flow a little bit, and it's always good to hear about one that's coming back around, and that sounds like what Pottawatomie County's is doing. So I was a little bit aware of kind of some of the meetings that have been happening in Pottawatomie County and how they're getting going again. So I've been really excited about that.
Justin, what would you say to somebody who is very early stages, beginning farmer, rancher, exploring, um, you know, kind of establishing or scaling up a farm business? What would you say to them in terms of the pitch for why Farm Bureau could be a resource for them?
Oh, see, I think that's one of the so for your people that haven't been involved for farming for a long time, I think Farm Bureau is an excellent resource for them. A lot of the stuff I'll get into this in just a minute. A lot of stuff we can do on the Farm Bureau side, but one of the best benefits is just the knowledge pool that you will have access to by talking to other Farm Bureau members. We've got a lot of resources at the State Farm Bureau and on those county farm bureaus to help you out, but just talking to other people that have done what you're wanting to try to do and getting ideas like that would be a huge help to young farmers, or not young farmers necessarily, but beginning farmers. I will say uh, our public policy. So we were working on a bill, a couple of bills today that had to do with eminent domain, so that your land's not taken away from you. And our public policy is one of our huge resources. Anything that they've got going, we're not going to say, well, you haven't been a member of Farm Bureau for X number of years, so we're not going to take you as seriously as somebody that's been around for a long time. All Farm Bureau members that have issues, we're going to talk to them about it. Doesn't mean we can work on everybody's issue. It's got to fit within that grassroots policy development that I talked about earlier. Um, we can also help out with legal stuff. We had, if say company comes to you and they want to lease your land for putting an oil well on, or if they want to run a power line across you, or they want to put a wind turbine or something like that on you. We do not have lawyers that we would necessarily. We're not going to pay for a lawyer or anything like that, but we would get you in contact with some people that you could talk to that would be experts in those fields, and maybe not the person that does divorce lawyering in your local community, somebody that was actually had been doing that other type of stuff more often. We have, I mean, like I said, we have a lot of different things that we can do for those beginning farmers. Um, camaraderie. Um, there are a few of our member benefits along those lines. We've got some member benefits that would be beneficial to beginning farmers. I will say, I talked about earlier that we're a general farm organization that owns an insurance company. We do have really good farm and ranch policies, and I would suggest anybody that's getting into agriculture at least check those out. I'm not telling you to make that. It's a business decision. You need to do what works good for you, but that does work for a lot of folks that are farming and ranching. Is that insurance? And then a lot of our uh, beginning farmers do have some tie to the youth, and a lot of things that we do on the youth level can sure help them out there.
Excellent. There's another question here. Could you talk about Farm Bureau connections to agritourism?
We don't necessarily have a lot of connection to agritourism, other than we have members that do agritourism. Um, we I mean, we're gonna if they've got something that we need to work on at the Capitol, we're going to do that. Like I said, we're a general farm organization, so we're not out there beating the drum for soybeans or corn or cattle or agritourism necessarily, but we're kind of trying to push all of them. I do think we do a little agritourism ourselves. We just got back from a bus tour of Western Oklahoma with Farm Bureau members that Oklahoma Farm Bureau puts on, and so we do a little bit of agritourism ourselves. I will say we're not your typical agritourism people. We want to walk through the cow lots and look at people's operation, not the glitzy agritourism side of things necessarily. We want to see the dirty stuff. So,
Excellent. Any other questions for
oh,
Justin? Go ahead.
one thing I should also add on that agritourism. If those folks come to the farmers market agritourism conference early in the spring, we do have that $500 marketing grant that we do. And I would suggest that if they are involved in agritourism, fill that out. I know it's just $500, but it's $500 you don't have to spend on marketing if you get the grant.
Yeah, that's an excellent resource. Um, any other questions for Justin from the group? Well, I'm going to, we'll see if we have any other questions coming in. I'm going to pause recording